Yeah, the real shop talk. Just come and take a listen. Some grown men with unbiased and honest opinions, and with no agendas, so you just gotta check it. Talking love and life from a male perspective. We keep it authentic, real, no filter. Leave a comment, be part of the show. We here to give you 5 gentlemen's views about manhood, no doubt. This the show you've been needing, yeah, it's the real shop talk. Let's go.
Good evening, everyone. It's your boy, Tony Massey. It's 8 p.m. on the East Coast. It's Monday night, so you know what that means. It's the real shop talk, and we are live, and it is ladies' night. Oh, yes, it's ladies' night. So we're going to have some fun tonight, man. Okay, all right, I ain't going to say. All right, we're going to have some fun tonight, man. This is going to be a great show. We're doing the battle of the sexes. We have 3 phenomenal women who are joining us tonight. All of them very accomplished, very sophisticated, very attractive. So I'm really excited to get their ideas of some of the things that we're talking about. And it's going to be an exciting one. But before we do anything, we gotta introduce my crew. You know, we got to stand together tonight, fellas. It's all for one, 3 for 5. We got to have our business tonight. All right, starting to this way, I'm going to go ahead and introduce one of my first co-hosts, Mr. Derek Jones. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. If you've been here before, and if this is your first time, we're going to need you to subscribe because we doing some good things here. My name is Derek Jones, and I'm a certified life and relationship coach, also host of the Relationship Gumbo podcast every Wednesday night. And I've been training my whole life for this episode right here, so I'm trained to go. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic down to my brother, Tony Watts, down below.
First, let me unmute myself and say hello. Thank you for everybody for joining us. We are here to have a discussion. Woo! This one's going to be big. I got questions, man. I got questions of who started the war, who shot first, who shot back. Are we the Bloods and the Crips when it comes to black women and black men? What are we doing? So I'm Tony Watts. I'm the host of Triumphant TV. I'm here to bring Rick's energy tonight because he's unable to be here. He might jump in later. Sometimes I'm going to switch to John's energy, be a little jokey. I'm be a little upbeat today, a little bit different, all right? Again, I'm a life and relationship coach as well. I've been doing this for a minute. I'm also an NPL practitioner. So get with us, talk to us. We do this for real. We study daily. So let's go.
Yes, sir. And big shout out to Mr. John Singletary and the Gunter man himself, Rick Gunter. They're traveling right now, doing the Lord's work out there, getting it. So we're gonna try to hold it down. I'm not even gonna suggest that John got scared because it's ladies' night. I ain't gonna even bring that up. I'm not even gonna say it out loud. I'm not gonna put that energy out there. So I'm just gonna move on.
Tony, remember, John knows snipers, so let's not.
That's true. That's true. All right. So let's get into it, man. Before we do anything, let me bring these ladies up one by one and allow them to introduce themselves. We're gonna start with Miss Charelle Thomas. She is a certified love and intimacy coach. I'm going to bring her up. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let everyone know who you are and where they can find you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Charelle Thomas. I am a love and intimacy coach, as he just previously mentioned. I work with men and women, helping them achieve a more fulfilling and satisfying love life with their partner. I teach them how to do this by helping them build a deeper connection with their partner, as well as teaching mind-blowing sexual techniques that will leave both them and their partner satisfied, yet yearning for more. And you guys can find me on Instagram at Charelle E. Thomas, and that's CharelleEThomas. And I'll hand it back over to you.
I got to make sure my pen and paper is nearby for the mind-blowing techniques. I want to make sure I capture all that. Next up is, let's see here. Next up, we have Calicia Patrice. Calicia is an entrepreneur and business coach. Welcome, Calicia.
Hey, guys, how are you? I am very grateful to be here. Thank you to Derek for inviting me. I appreciate you very much so. My name is Calicia Patrice, just as you see on the screen. That is how I can be found on all of my social media sites. I am the co-founder of Effective Marketing and Networking. We work with small and big businesses alike to make sure that they're reaching their target market. We also have a company called Hello Black Man that talks about transparency and communication in the Black community. So be sure to follow me on all of my social media platforms. And I am done talking. Back to you, Tony.
I love it. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. And then last but certainly not least, now this young lady, she has so many titles, man. I'm just gonna have to mention, I'm gonna limit myself to 2 or 3 because she doing everything. Her name is Love Tucker. She is an author. She is a brand ambassador. She is a model. She is a minister. She is a jack of all and probably a master of every damn one. Love, welcome to the stage.
Hello, hello. Can everyone hear me just fine?
You're a little low.
I'm always low. I'm a low talker.
Okay, no problem. Then we're just gonna have to listen.
Exactly. Like, listen close. I am Love Tucker. I am the author of the fictional novel 2024. I am a brand ambassador for Prosperity Nation. Our overarching goal is to teach financial literacy to our community, especially the young ones, so that they can grow up and be prosperous. I model every once in a while, not so much anymore. That's old stuff. I say that, and then all of a sudden I do a show. And most importantly, I'm a mom to the most fantastic kid ever. So that's, I think, the most important thing.
That's what's up. So I turned your mic up a little bit, so because you are really low, but that's okay. We're gonna get into it. Again, that means we just got to pay attention when she speaks. All right. So here we are. It's 3-on-3 with a full court. We called it Battle of the Sexes, but the reality is I don't know how much we're gonna battle tonight, but I do look forward to the different perspectives. Right. So I want to start this off with a generalized question, and I'll throw this question out, and whoever wants to grab it first, I would hope one of the ladies do first, and then fellas, of course, you follow up with your perspective. There is a bit of contention between especially Black men and Black women right now. At least it seems to be. I don't know if that's a narrative that's being pumped into our social circles or if that actually exists. What would you say is one of the causes, one of the chief causes of either the contention or the perception of the contention, if you don't believe it actually exists?
I'll go first. I'm always going to go first. I honestly, I am a media pushes so much to us. Media is the way that we learn a lot of things, whether it be social media, whether it be newspaper, whether it be radio. This is where we get the most of what we find. So I honestly, because I am a lover of Black men, I was raised by my father, who is a Black man, and his brothers who are Black men. I have adored and respected them for my entire life. I think highly of them. I have never had any contentions toward a Black man. Do I see that this narrative is continuously pushed to us? I do. It is such a divide. And for example, very, very recent example, we have a platform called Hello Black Man. I posted this morning that it was a meme, and it said 98% of fathers are absent because of the mother's behavior. It was simply for entertainment. When I tell you, the post went insane because everybody was so divided and so torn by a simple statement, because we're so caught up in emotion that we don't think with our minds, we think with our hearts. It meant nothing to me or my partner, but because we feel like, oh, this is what we're feeding each other, we tear each other down, we create this big thing. It had nothing to do with race. It had nothing to do with anything other than the fact that behaviors create divide. That was all the post meant to us as individuals. But because mentally we're so torn apart from ancestry that we don't realize that we continuously hold each other down. We have to break that cycle. We have to become the betterment of what we have seen in the past. We know that our ancestors weren't able to protect one another. Our grandfathers weren't able to protect our grandmothers, but we're in a better place now. So we've got to start visualizing and accepting that we do not have to be against each other. We got to love each other. That's the only way we rise above what we've already known.
All righty then. So this is my take on it, right? It's a complex but simplistic. For me, I think there's a lot of nuance that has happened over the past generation or two, and I think we're now starting to see some of the fallout from single parent homes, and maybe boys are raised a little different than they were a couple generations ago, and all of these different things. But here's the bigger point. There's fault everywhere, but everybody's looking for somebody to be the culprit. Can't be me. It's y'all. And if both sides are saying that, nobody's gonna ever listen. And the gender wars is kind of like, I hate even saying that, because I don't know whether society was just different when we grew up, but this wasn't a thing when I was growing up. Or maybe it was and I didn't notice it, but I'm like, if everybody is pointing the finger, then there's no resolution. And if there's no resolution and people aren't even seeking out relationships, how do we even get together and have families? It boggles my mind. But I know everybody's trying to figure out who hurt you, who hurt me, why this, why that. And nobody's really saying, could it come from me? If everybody says it comes from me, guess what? The fixes start to happen. So I'm gonna land there.
Now, okay, all right. I'm about to throw a flag on this play right now. I know, I know that these ladies are not this quiet. I mean, we have entrepreneurs, authors, business coaches, and whatnot. And what's going on? Y'all scared? I mean, if you scared, say you scared. I saw.
No, if you're scared, say you scared.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's just a conversation.
We'll take this L in the first inning. It's all good.
That's ridiculous.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
I might have to log out and log back in. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can hear you fine.
Yes.
We can hear you great.
You can't hear us?
Because my signal is going in and out. But
no, you're fine.
I think you guys touched on a lot of good points. And in short, I just want to say that I think it's all about the lack of self-accountability. Like, we are not raised to stand up and say, oh, my bad, I made the mistake. It's always pointing and placing the blame on someone else, as opposed to taking that self-accountability. And I think we would be so much further along if we were taught actually how to do that, and to understand that it's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with admitting when you're wrong.
Love Tucker, you got something to say?
Maybe a little bit.
All right, we want to hear a little bit.
I think it really just stems from, modeled behavior, right? Like, whatever we grow up seeing, this is generally what we model. And unfortunately, we see a lot of toxic behavior, or we learn that is toxic, or it's not the thing to do. It has evolved in our lifetime. I would say that certain things are not PC. If I was a grown woman and I met my friend's child, I can't say, oh, you my little boyfriend. Hold up now. That's inappropriate. So I think there is some evolution that we've had, that we recognize that things aren't what they were. And then there are some people that go, oh no, everything is just fine. And they're butting heads with the people who are prepared to evolve in this arena that we are in. We're going, no, we're not going to keep perpetuating what was, which we all know a lot of it stems from the remnants of slavery.
All right, so I'm gonna jump in real quick. One of the reasons why we're having this discussion is there is so much divide, as we've already spoken about, between the black man and the black woman on so many really minute, silly, I must say it, silly issues, right? Because when we sit down if we sit down across from each other, right, and we all fill out a blind survey, at the bottom of the survey, it will say, after we add everything up, and I talked about this before, we want to be loved, cherished, and protected. And we want to have the person that we love have our backs. But we have gone through so much trauma, so much brokenheartedness, playboy, playgirl. Like if you ask any man on this panel, a woman broke his heart, and for a minute, he went and lost his mind, right? A woman could say the same thing. A man broke her heart, and then she went and lost her mind. But I think what happened is in the 80s, we 80s and 90s, right? Mid 90s, all of these songs started coming out about who's paying the bills. You're a scrub. You can't do this. And she's got to do that. And we began to, listening to the music began to take on that mindset. So now women started becoming these titles that men would disrespect. And then women, puffed up their chest and said, no, I'm not that. I remember being in a club when Put It In Your Mouth came on. And I had just had the conversation on the way to the club with somebody else. She's respectful, this, that, the other. She loves herself. She's in the middle of the dance floor yelling, put it in my mouth. And on the way back, I said to her, I was like, I know you. I know you, who you are as a person. But every guy that doesn't know you, I said, think about it, from your outfit to the way you enjoyed yourself, had a different thought about who you were. And certain things like that began to divide us because we began to take sides. All women are this, all men are that. So I think over time, instead of stopping having conversations with our younger children to say every person is an individual, treat every person as such, we began to, okay, we're going to put that one in that corner. That person is now part of that team. That person is now part of that team. And now it's come to be so disgusting. These young kids are out here completely losing their minds. Like I listened to, I forgot the rap group, City Girls or whatever it is. If you're not taking me out and buying me, taking care of my nails, taking care of top level stuff, we can't go out. We can't date. And I'm like, who started this? So that's why we came up with this conversation to see where this started, so we can bring it back to the center. Each individuals, and if we be honest with each other when we sit down, we could have a very good conversation and bring us back to the center.
Calicia, go for it.
I just want to know if she was intoxicated when she was saying put it in her mouth. That's what I'm trying to, because when I'm on that, goose, ain't no telling what made that come out.
Listen,
you always have to go back to the catchphrase where he ain't talking about me, and then it's absolved from that point.
Right.
Actually, I had a different take on that as Tony was going on it. I was thinking, why can't she be both? Why can't she be nuanced? Why can't
listen? I'm not saying. Listen. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying she wasn't both. I knew her. I knew she was both. I knew she had all those facets. But the onlooker that does not know her is automatically going to disrespect her mentally to think that this is all she is.
I understand.
I understand your point, but when I heard that, I thought of that, but I also thought of there's something that I think happens, perhaps, often, who knows how small a percentage, with Black women, where we are seen as the mother, right? Seen as the provider, the nurturer, and all of that. And that's wonderful and beautiful and soft, and you want to protect that, right? Like, especially if you're the dad in that position, right? But then you want her to be the nastiest person in the bedroom, and it's almost like, oh, wait a minute, that nuance sometimes isn't accepted, especially with all the other facets, right? Like Tony was like, oh, she does all this stuff. And I'm thinking, I ain't doing enough. But so many women are doing all of these things. And then we are so diverse that sometimes I think just watching that, there becomes this resentment. I remember the ex-husband was very upset when I made a comment. I don't know how old, maybe let's say my son was less than a year old. And I said, oh, I don't think I could dress sexy anymore. Right? Like in my mind, because I have this boy child. And he was like, what? Like, what about me? So I was like, what about you? You've already experienced the sexy. Like, let it go, dude. So I'm kind of wondering how everybody feels about that, because men don't really have that same difference in dynamic, I don't think. There's the provider umbrella goes over protect the wife, protect the family, protect the kids, but there isn't that same nuance that happens with women.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying completely. It's like that. Can we be Instagram models and moms too? Like, can we be out here naked on Instagram and be mamas? Because we're placing such a box that we're placing such a box that where if we're out here, you know, showing everything, I have been called out for it numerous times. I'm a mother of 3, and sometimes I take photographs, and everybody don't like the photographs that I take. So I get inboxes. You shouldn't be out here showing all of these things. So I'm like, if I go to the beach and wear a bathing suit, what's the difference between me taking photographs in a studio and me going to the beach and showing these same pictures? You know, we're so caught up in what's right and what's wrong that we don't even take time out to realize that maybe we're doing this because we need to feel beautiful. We want to feel beautiful. We want these compliments. We want this because we have had children. We are mothers. We are wives, but we also like attention. I'm not saying everybody is like that, but Aisha Curry said it best. We want to know that somebody else out there is looking, is interested in what we got going on. That's all we're saying. Are we going to cheat? Not necessarily, but we like to know that there's attention out there for us. We want to feel beautiful. So that's all I'm saying. Go ahead. I'll turn it back over to whoever wants to talk.
So there's this thing that Freud came up with, and I don't know how true it is, but it does bring merit. It does hold merit in this conversation. And it's called, and we talked about this the other night, Derek, on Clubhouse, I think. It's called the Madonna whore complex. You learn about it in psychology. And the concept basically is that for men, we see 2 women. And someone said it in the comments. We compartmentalize women into 2 categories: the Madonna, which is, you know, the representative of the clean and untouched and, you know, pure, and then of course the whore. And the idea is that we want to marry the Madonna. That's who we seek out for marriage. But then we also want her to miraculously become, you know, a whore in the streets, right? Or excuse me, in the sheets, rather. So, not taking into consideration that, you know,
her, Tony.
Huh?
You pimping her.
No, exactly. Well, not whore as in, you know, exchange. Her sexual behavior is very, and he uses the term whore, but I think that what he means by that is she's very sexually expressive and free and all this other stuff. And I think for some men, you know, it's very dichotomous. Number one, because, you know, most of the things that I do in the bedroom are things that I've learned, you know, in the bedroom, right? So to this idea that I need my woman to come in untouched, never had having any sexual experience, but yet be sexually expressive, so much so that she's, you know, hanging from the chandeliers, to me is kind of ridiculous, right? And I wonder, you know, my theory is we blame our parents, we blame, you know, slavery, which I definitely think is a source. But I think at some point, and I'm going to say it's probably around the late 80s, early 90s, we found out as a society that it is profitable to disrespect Black women publicly. Now, Black women have always been disrespected throughout history, but if you can gain capital on the backs of disrespecting Black women, especially when you put them in situations where you are forcing them into misogyny or forcing them into sexism and then blaming them for the misogyny and for the sexism. And even today, in my opinion, there are men who have built whole platforms on disrespecting Black women, blaming Black women for the Black community's problems, blaming Black women for the issues between Black men and Black women. And it is extremely profitable. I mean, from Uncle Luke to Kevin Samuels, they're doing the same exact thing. It's exploitation. And because, like we said, no one wants to step up and say, hey, this is on me, it continues because the other side of that is I've recently had a conversation about a Black woman who literally went through this very tumultuous, very scary, violent situation with a Black man that she loves, and decided not to press charges or pursue charges because she didn't want to turn him over to an unjust system. And it blows my mind that as Black men, we have put Black women in the very unfortunate and very unfair position to protect us from a system that we are literally participating in with our actions. But that has always been the legacy of Black women since slavery, having to calm the master down, having to, really take the brunt of it all so that we didn't have to. And then in return, we capitalize on your disrespect.
And Tony, I'm glad you brought that up because we're getting to the point of how I wanted to end the show. But since we're here now, let's just be here. Black women have done a lot to protect us, and it brings up a particular story on my show that I had, Protect Black Women, when somebody brought up a scenario where an older woman that he worked with went to a game in LA with two Black gentlemen. So as she's walking to the stadium, a white man came back and slapped her behind. They were in front of her, so they didn't see what happened. They just saw when they turned around her, giving the dude the business. So when they turned around to ask her what's happening, the reason why she said nothing, because she knew what would ensue, and she did not want the police to show up and target them as the aggressors. And we said on that show was, look how we've been protected for so long by these women, but we have stopped doing protecting. And like I've said on this show and in my show, it is time for us to protect Black women and our women the same way white men burn down cities to protect theirs. I'm gonna say it again. It's time for us to do that. If somebody is disrespecting a Black woman, I don't care what the situation is. Find out what it is, and if she's being disrespected in the street, you step in as a man and go, no, we're not doing that anymore. Shut it down. So we can go back to the topic at hand. I'm sorry. I just
that really. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Tony.
No, go ahead. I'm done.
I was talking to Tony Massey, but I mean that just really takes you back to the times when our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, our great grandfathers weren't able to protect it, and it's so embedded in us that we don't even realize it. Centuries have gone by where you guys weren't able to protect us from beatings and rapings and things. And as deeply as we don't want to admit it, we hold that somehow, some way. It's ingrained in us. So we try to protect on our ends, not even realizing that you guys weren't able to, and you're not. So even with the whole, this is something recent with Black men wanting white women. We don't care. We don't care. It's when you say, I want them because the Black woman doesn't do this or because she doesn't do that. You know, it's not about who you want. Love who you want, but don't put us in it. Don't involve us in the fact that you have chosen to go outside of what you do. Like, I mean, I think that as a Black woman, I have loved the Black man from the time that I was born to this earth. We just got to realize that we love each other and we are here to protect one another. Don't matter who you love outside of, you know, relationship, but protect us. That's all we want. That's all we need. That's all we desire in this world, is to be protected and to know that we're here for y'all. Y'all are here for us.
I just want to piggyback off, you know, that whole subject about, you know, wanting to protect the Black man. Like, I have found myself in a number of different situations where I basically needed a man to come in and protect me. And I have three. I have my big cousin, my two brothers who will do anything for me. But at the thought of them putting them in danger to protect me, I'd rather just carry that burden. I'd rather just carry that weight, as opposed to pushing it off and saying, hey, he did this to me, or, you know, this situation happened. And I can't fathom the thought, even though, Tony, you mentioned about how Black men need to step up and do it. I can't fathom the thought of putting a man in that situation to defend me. I'd rather just carry that burden and carry the hurt and deal with the pain another way.
But the problem with that is, if you guys have been doing it for so long, that some of you guys are resentful for doing it, and that's what's causing the divide. You're resentful because you've had to carry this load for so long, right?
That's interesting. I know for me, I can say that I don't carry the resentment because I know that that's my choice that I made, but it goes back to what I was saying in the beginning about self-accountability. I can't resent somebody for not doing what I did not allow them to do. And
that's why you're special. That's why you're different. No, and I don't mean it as a joke. I mean that seriously.
No, we know.
You've done the work. You've done the work to say, I've made the choice to do this, right? Some women have in their mind of being forced to do it. They think the choice has been taken out of their hands. So therefore, now they're upset about protecting, or now it's time for me to get mine. Why can't I go out and have as many men as women as men do? You mean as many men as women do? Like, I can be a man. A long time ago, I remember I was having a discussion with this young lady, and she was like, I'm gonna get mines like niggas do. And I said to her, so now you're ready to become a nigger to get what you want. And she stopped and said, what do you mean? I said, if you're going to have the traits and act like a nigga, you have to become a nigga. So sit with that for a minute. We say things and do things that we don't understand how impactful these words we're piling on, right? And then when we get into situations where we haven't healed from our hurt and our pains from past relationships, let's go even deeper. Let's go to dads and uncles and cousins who've done horrible things. Now we take that into the relationship world. Now all men who say hi, smile, touch, grab, they are now these people who did not protect me. So, and that's why I did the show on my station, How to Protect the Black Woman. I started from the point of women start going through things sexually, maybe not touch, but from eye contact at a very early age. As soon as they start to develop, some men are hawking at them. Hey, little girl, what's going on, mama? She's 12. So what? She developed like she's 17, 18, 19 years old. She's 12. She doesn't know what to do with that. Right? So if we don't teach our boys and re-teach our men, relearn our men how to engage, then we're going to have women continuously growing up having these problems. Like the conversation we had last week, rape culture, right? My daughter's 17. She just turned 18. And when I was having the conversation with Rick in the car, she comes up and goes, Daddy, rape culture is also when a guy is asking you multiple times to go out and you've told him no several times already. And at first, I fought that until I stepped back and thought about it. If I've told you no, I don't want to go out with you, right? I'm not playing hard to get. I really don't like you that way. And I continue pushing and pushing until you say yes, until you give in.
Yeah.
It's not that much different. So,
that's something to fight about, though, because I know people who have told me and know that they ended up marrying, you know.
I was going to say that's a good pivot point. So let's get into relationships, okay? There's a couple of things I want to share with you. One is the dynamic of a relationship. And that goes into roles, right? Relationship roles. And also just the idea of being with one person. So let me start here. Just throw this up here right quick. This is a post that we found on Twitter. This was sent, I think one of the ladies sent this in. Teach your sons that cooking and cleaning are basic life skills, not gender roles. And then another is I want to share a comment from Dope Discussions with Erica, who has been on the show and a great friend of the show. I recently heard a man on TikTok who said that when he makes a woman his girlfriend, she is no longer exciting. And that's why he has to keep a side chick. Now, there's two things going on here. One, the roles, right? And then we talk about girlfriend behavior versus wife behavior, husband behavior versus boyfriend behavior. And then just the idea of being with one person and being satisfied in that. How did we get to a point, or have we always been there, where we because there's this idea of traditional, right? And I don't think enough people are taking into consideration that traditional doesn't always mean better, right? There was a time where women stayed home because that was the only option. Right. There was not a lot of opportunities for women outside of the home. So this idea that I want to go back to a traditional role, you got to go back. And if you're going to go back, you got to go back to all of it, not just the part that you liked and not the part that you enjoyed. And was that an enjoyable experience for women at that time? Right. Obviously not, because we wouldn't have had women's suffrage and, you know, women fighting for the right to vote and work and all this other stuff. So how do the roles, whether it be the gender roles or even the relationship roles, impact this this battle of the sexes when it comes to relationships?
I'm gonna jump in real quick with this one because this is something that we see almost daily on these different platforms, and the arguments go back and forth.
I object.
Hold on, man. That was your post you sent in. We about to get it in.
Oh, you gonna try to call me out like that? That's what we doing.
I think the mute button right there. So look, I think
the thoughts and expressions of Derek Jones are not necessarily.
Stop it. That's my sis. So I think the gender roles, I think to a certain extent, not everyone, because I'm never going to speak in absolutes, because I don't need y'all coming for me in the comments. I think in this time that we're in now, I think the waters get muddied a little bit on both sides. I think there are men who live in 2021. They want traditional values in a society that doesn't operate that way. And in kind, I think you have a modern woman who's educated. She's, running businesses and all of that. But then there's certain aspects of traditional that woman would demand of a man. I got making my own money, but when I meet you, you need to take care of me. So when you start spouting all of that stuff, I don't need you, and the man is like, I want you to be the housewife and all of it. It's like all this conflicting energy floating around, and it's like, which one do you want? And I don't know whether we go one way or the other, or do we need a hybrid, or I don't know. It's hard to navigate this space because we live in a different society now. Like, we can't demand that a woman yield to my providing and all of this other kind of stuff if I'm not even providing that stuff. It's like, it's almost kind of like most of the men that are shouting this can't even do the thing that they're requiring for the woman to do. How can you be a housewife and a man is making $25,000 a year? Like, you can't. These dudes, those be the loudest guys. And then on the woman's side, it's like, I want you to financially support me However, I don't need you because I make my own money. So it's like all of these different, and I'm just telling you what I hear on these platforms, and it's like, nobody's listening to each other. That's what I said at the beginning of the show. It's like nobody's looking at, not even just because we all claim we're all different, but there's a lot of similarities about how we're socializing, all of these things. I think there's a happy medium somewhere as long as we listen to the other person. So I'm gonna land there.
So this is funny, okay? Because I'm in this singles group, right? Well, everybody's supposed to be single. We don't know who's single, who's not single. And then this guy posted and he was like, so what are women looking for in a man? What do they want? And so I posted very matter-of-factly, I want to be a housewife. I want to cater to my man. I want his dinner to be on the table, his bathroom when he get home. That's me. That's what I want to do. I got kicked out the group.
Oh,
It was like a housewife. You're not bringing nothing to the table.
not kicked out of the group.
Wait a minute. I thought that's what men wanted. No, that's not the case anymore. So now I feel like everybody's making decisions on the basis of it being a business decision. I can't speak for everybody, but I feel like in the society that we live in today, these men and these women are getting married on the basis of stability. We are not necessarily talking about, not me, because I'm in love. My man is everything.
That's why you got kicked out the singles group, because they found out you weren't single. Come on.
Shout out to your man.
Exactly. That's why you got kicked out the single.
Most women and men are really like, hey, I need somebody who's going to be able to help me maintain, help me be stable, help me pay these bills, raise these kids, because we're old. I don't care what y'all think. We're aging. I don't want to say we're old, but we're aging. So what is norm now is not norm for what our grandparents and our great-grandparents did. Like they were just, grandma was at the house cooking and making sure grandpa had what he had, but grandpa had 7 other families and grandma didn't even know about it. You know what I'm saying?
Why you
There's
talking
so
about your granddaddy like that? No, I'm kidding.
Gender roles has changed so greatly. Even when we talk about gender roles, we can't even be specific to just gender because now we don't even know what gender is. You know, it's so diverse because I was watching an episode of something the other day. I think More to the Story. If y'all don't watch that, watch More to the Story. Shameless plug. They were talking about genders, and gender is no longer male and female. Gender goes beyond that. So we're so far removed from that we can't even accept what we were taught or what we were raised on. Not that I ever saw a male and female gender outside of my mother and father, but they weren't even traditional. You know, my mom worked, my dad worked. So if I'm working and you working, we're not going to have this whole, I wash clothes, you do this. We all doing whatever it takes to make this household work.
Get in where you fit in.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's what we are in today's society. So I accept it. I'm pro-choice. If you want to propose to your man, Derek Hayes said, do what you got to do to find love, okay? All right, I'm done. I'm passing the mic.
Try to find the mute button. No, don't do that.
No, you're amazing. I have talked about this. If he okay with it, be okay
get up.
with it.
Don't you dare. And if you are going to do that,
get a watch.
Do it at home. If you're going to do it at home. Do not embarrass some.
Listen, the way this
because what that says to the world is, this man is so. I'm so tired of waiting on him that I'm going to take matters in my own hands. That's what we're all saying or thinking while we're looking at this woman get down on one knee and propose. There was one picture, the woman was pregnant.
I saw
that. That's not a good look. I'm sorry.
We're not going to block her happiness. Do what makes you happy, girl.
Do what makes you happy, but at the same time, we're talking about perception. That's all. We're just talking about perception. This perception
does not matter to her. She happy. Go on about your business.
Absolutely. But we're going to still talk about perception, you know?
But is he happy?
He has to understand.
He was like this. He was like this.
Right.
She was married.
Even that, she put him in this feminine position.
No.
Like...
That's your perception. She didn't put him there. He accepted that position. She knew who she was getting in this relationship with. There are masculine women who are with feminine men because of this lack of gender equality or this gender equality. So if he wants to be feminine, she wants to be masculine.
I don't know about that. I think she went full female.
Y'all not gonna give me counsel. Y'all do what y'all do.
I think he went full feminine when she got down on one knee and became his knight in shining armor.
Exactly.
That's what I think.
Exactly. That's exactly how I see it as well. That Tony's right. It looks so horrible, and I know we don't care about perceptions of other people. Like, we're here because we don't really care what you think about us, right? We do what we do because we have passed that stage and we're concerned of what you think about us. But at the same time, when we look at these roles, a woman getting down on her knees to propose to a man, especially when she's that pregnant, the perception is going to jump that I want to make sure we're married before this child comes. It's so many different things available for the mind, and none of them could be true. None of them could be true. It could be they had a conversation and she said, honey, we're going to break the norm and I'm going to propose to you. That could have happened at home, but every onlooker is thinking something totally different. And if you do it in front of Derek, he might step in and go, bro, get up, bro, on your knees, woman, get up and give her the ring.
I'm going to say something. Get up.
Here's how I feel. Right? If you're going to go that far to get a ring for somebody, that means you knew his ring size, right? So why didn't you have the discussion at home and just turn it around?
You did. That's the part that we miss.
Yeah,
and that's the part we don't accept. These conversations are already being had, and we're so caught up in our own personal beliefs of what should be done that we can't accept somebody else's norm. If that's what's normal in their life and their relationship, how does that affect you? What does that do?
No. Time out. What I'm saying is, all right. So, husband and wife situations. We go husband and wife. I'm not even gonna go girlfriend, boyfriend. Husband and wife situations. She makes more than he does, right? They go to a dinner where they're gonna be with their friends. She hands him the corporate card. She hands him the card so he can pay. I'm looking at it the same way. If you're going to go out and buy the ring that fits him, now he's walking around with an engagement ring. Why don't you just get the ring for you and let him do it? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it has to be, done any other way. I'm just offering some things. If you guys are going to go that far, now she went and did it all by herself and said, "Hey, honey, we're at the cookout. I'm gonna surprise you." Then that's a whole different ballgame.
I have an opinion on. I'm not even going to touch that whole proposing to a man. Like, nah. You're going to have to drop something on these rocks because that's what's going on my finger. But I think that point goes to the idea of roles in general, right? Like, I think the word should is so hyperbolic. It's like a bomb. It's the presumption that someone else's ideals is what you should embody, right? Or that should, again, right? You need to embody these things. And we have accepted as a society, these roles are for men, these roles are for women. And because we go on with these habits, because that's what they are, and we've gone with these habits and these thoughts for such a long time, we go, oh, well, women do this, and this goes under the mom category, and this goes under the dad category. So things that are different from that, we go, oh, well, I don't like that so much. Now, to a point, when we have individuals that go, okay, this is what's going to go on in our household, this is what's going to go on in our lives because we are comfortable here. In that question, I surged back to my younger self and I thought of the Cosby Show. And even though we don't really want to talk about Cosby, but I remember really viscerally that episode where Felicia Rashad, when Claire got sick and Claire needed to be in bed all day. And it was like, oh my God, I got to get out of bed because you can't handle anything with these kids. I do everything. And he's just like, hey, I could do this stuff. Don't worry about it. Like, the house not going to burn down. The kids aren't going to die. I'm a doctor, damn it. Basically is what he wanted to say. I can handle this house. And meanwhile, by the end of the day, she, every time she's trying to get up, he's like, hey, lay down. By the end of the day, she still was like, oh my God, everybody lost their mind. Let me get out of bed. I'm not sick anymore. Even though she's still clearly sick. And I think that there's a little bit of that for women, especially for myself. I remember saying in therapy one session that I want to be cared for. And every once in a while, I want to be taken care of. There is a time where I go, you know what? I just want you to go sit down. I'm going to cook. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, oh, I might still try to fight it and, be Claire. And it's like, no, I got it. And we need to have the trust in our partner to be able to go, okay, I can acquiesce this. And I think there's probably that. We don't trust that the other person is going to be able to get this done. So, I got to do it. And to Tony Watt's point, there is resentment that starts to build up slowly but surely, like those little parts of dust where you go, oh, why do I always have to do X, Y, and Z? Why do I always, if I don't do it, it's not going to be done correctly. So I got to do X, Y, and Z. So I think there are those dynamics that creep in all the time with us. That's why we fight.
So Charelle,
yes,
you're quiet over there. I'm itching to hear what you got to say.
Taking it all in, but I think it boils down to couples doing what's right for them. I can say all day long that you will never find me on my knees proposing. I was about to say performing oral sex, but excuse me, I meant proposing.
I got a stool.
You will not find me to a man, but that's because I don't believe in stepping into that masculine energy. I personally operate best when I'm in my feminine energy, when I'm receiving, when I'm in a place where I'm being, catered to, and I'm able to receive what my man has to offer. And I just don't think that it's black and white, because there's a lot of women who operate in a masculine energy and it worked for their relationship. So that's my viewpoint of it. Do I think that it's right? It's right for them, not for me.
Yes, Derek, what do you have to say?
So here's the thing, right? And I've had to learn how to speak about these things differently with the 12-year-old and seeing how she responds to things and acts towards things, and how even like these early 20s, as much as I want to push everyone into a box, they're a little different now. And I think that these roles, there's a shift, right? And so to the point of this whole, and Lord, I would not have said this probably like a year or two ago, but the whole kneeling, the woman proposing and all of that, to Calicia's point, yes, I said it, to Calicia's point.
Yeah.
Get it out, bro. Get it out.
They different now, right? So now, here's the thing, here's the narrative, right? The man is the protector. He's the strong one. He's gonna go and he's gonna propose to his woman. The woman is the softer, feminine creature. Well, it ain't like that now. You got, as Tashura always says, you have some moist dudes out here. And you also have women who have elevated themselves in society to the point where they start to exude this more kind of, I don't need you masculine type of energy. So that type of woman might say, you know what, dude? I'm going to do it. You know what? I'm tired of waiting. Let's go ahead and get it done. And there are men out here that will say, that's cool with me. And he will watch her kneel down on that knee and be okay with it. Do I like it? No. But can I put that on to somebody who's 21 in a society where everybody has to have pronouns and all this other stuff and all of these names and letters and all this stuff? I don't know. I would want it to be a certain way, but it's because my daughter would be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't call him a him. It's a his pronoun. And I'm like, hold on, what? But that's how they're growing up. I don't know. I don't know how we I don't think we can get it back.
All right, so before Tony Massey walk off the stage again and leave us in limbo, I think that at this point, we have to begin to teach, right? That the role is for everybody to help around the house. Everybody does a job. Now, if the dude has 2 jobs, he's only home for 5 hours to get 3 hours of sleep, then there's certain duties that need to be done that he need not touch, right? Because he's doing that. Now, reverse it. If she has a job that consumes that much time, he's got to step up to do certain things. Like we have to begin to give this the shared responsibility of the vision to build a stronger generation and stop the fighting. Because what we're doing is we're too busy wrestling with, I want to be praised. You have to worship me. No, I'm the man. No, I'm the strong woman. That we're not moving forward. We got to cut that out. We got to go back to, we have to be a community that grows together. And that starts with a core family working together. I can't drain her if she has a job that drains her. She can't drain me if I have a job that drains me, right? And I'm paying all the bills. I can't come home and see everything a wreck, right? If we need to get a maid, then let's talk about a maid and talk about how you're going to pay for that. There's conversations that need to be had. So there's a lot of discussions that need to be had and a lot of teaching that needs to be done to get these younger generation. And Tony, before I continue, were you able to upload that video?
That's where I was going next.
All right, cool. So let's jump into this video and go from there.
So we
can start some real tussle.
Yeah. Because I won't lie to you.
It seems like an ambush, ladies.
No.
Videos and
signs. Sorry, girl. I know how they do. I've been watching them.
No.
Can we do that to you?
No.
No.
I'm triggered. All
right. X-Formation, gentlemen.
Chill out.
X-Formation, gentlemen. Y'all ready?
Ladies.
No. So I have a son who's 24, happily married, great kid. But there was a time where he struggled with dating because he was, and it was my fault, the nice guy, right? And I had to teach him that you can't be nice to everyone because what you're doing is you're robbing someone of the opportunity to feel special. So if girls see you being nice to all the girls, then they can't differentiate between them and all the other girls. And it was a really difficult conversation for me to have with him because I raised him to be kind and thoughtful and generous and all this other stuff, and to be expressive. That's the other thing. I never forced my son into that box that some men put themselves and their sons into, and that box is where you can't express emotions. Because I feel like if you take a man's ability to express emotions away from him, then he's left with only 2 emotions, angry and happy, right? And so everything has to get funneled between angry and happy. And I think there's just a litany of emotions that exist between that. Having said that, being an expressive man and dating is a very difficult thing. I'm blessed. I'm so blessed to be married, not just because my wife is amazing, but because I'm not in these streets no more. Because when I tell you it's confusing, I feel sorry for brothers right now. So
Thanks, Tone. Thanks.
I do, man. I really do. Because it's like all of the conventional wisdom has been thrown out the window. And you'll see what I mean. We're going to show this real short. It's like 2 minutes and 45 seconds. And I did edit it just so people know. I edited the language. That's it. It's from a group called Eight at the Table. And it's a relationship talk. Yeah. So I enjoy most of their videos. But this one was very interesting. And I want to play it for you. And then we'll talk about it when it gets done.
I've learned the hard way. So like I'll meet a girl, I was out at a club, say it's a Saturday night. And by like Sunday, Monday, I'm texting her like, yo, how you enjoy tonight? You want to meet up? I'm just doing too much, like, beautiful. I'm just like texting her. I'm just giving her all this energy. Yeah, I dropped the ball, needless to say. She said, I love you doing too much. I feel pressured. I just wanted to have a good time. And if you would have got to know me or asked me, you would have known that I'm not on that type of time. I thought you was cool. But you texting me 8 in the morning, And I said to her, when you was on my mind, good morning, beautiful, and she was like, oh, God, like.
Texting me like that, I'm gonna block you. You're doing too much.
I'm trying to get to know you.
Then don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Go off, that's what I'm saying, you gotta go off energy, you know what I'm saying?
In my eyes, I feel like there's no such thing as doing too much if the chemistry is right, if the moment is right. Because, listen, you're my man if I meet you in the club and the chemistry is right and we having a good time. Listen, you're my man right now. Like, I move too fast. I'm that girl.
So we will work.
I'm that girl. But it depends on...
Energy. The vibe is right. Energy, though.
It depends. Yeah, it's the energy.
You text and ignore. I promise you it works.
That'll work for me.
It'll work if she wants you. That's the whole key. Sure. See, you fishing around to see if she like you, calling her beautiful and all space. If she look good, say that all the time. Tell her you want to and then she respond back. Quick. I was going to say yes or no. Let's do it.
Don't be texting no girl talking about, do you want to
I didn't say that. That was a joke. Yeah. That was a joke for him not to respond.
Girls highly dig vibes. Mm-hmm. If she has a vibe with you, she vibed with you, I feel like if it's someone you just bagged or something, I feel like it makes a difference if you like met her with like a group of friends and she got to like know you and she was vibing with you, then she actually likes you. If you met her in a club, that was just fun for her.
If somebody's interested, they're gonna text you back, they're gonna call you back, they're gonna interact with you. That's just what it is. If you feel like it's a one-way conversation, it's not it. It's very that simple. You get what I'm saying? If you're not receiving no energy from this female, that's not it. Because when I'm a female. When I'm interested, I give a lot of energy. And when I'm not interested, I don't give no energy. And there's no in between with me.
So much to unpack.
So now I will. Let me bring this comment up because this is relevant. From the mind of CC said this is a bad example. LOL. They're under 30. That's true. We do have to take into consideration that these are young people. However, pause for effect. These people are not going to be 30 forever, right? So I want to pose the question. Now, to me, they talked about two different things. They started the conversation about doing too much, which I hate that concept. And then they moved into interest versus non-interest. And I've always said the difference between a stalker and a man who is catering to a woman is the woman's desire for the man. If she don't like you, then you're a stalker. But if she like you, he's considerate, he's whatever. So I do believe that there's a scale. And you got a grade on the scale based on her desire for you. But let's go back to the doing too much. And I want to pose these questions to the ladies first. And fellas, y'all can pop in when you're ready. Is there is doing too much a thing in the dating process?
Okay, I'll start. Full disclosure, I've been on 8 at the Table a couple of times. So not everybody under 30 is not everybody's under 30 on there. But there is a thing as doing too much. Here's why I say that. I really don't love that I am dating in this space and time where I have a find me all the time with this thing, where you have the illusion of instant access. Thus, you believe I'm available whenever you want to access me. You want to text me, you might want to call me, you want to send me a message, you want to send me a picture. Like, you might want to send me an essay. Oh, this is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. That is a lot. And I will just give an example really quick. There was a guy that I met who I was like, oh, cute. Like, okay, let's see. You're not really at the height requirement, but I might make an exception. Okay. And yes, Tony, that's the thing. Why are you putting your hand? Why you covering your face?
I can't laugh to myself.
Not you, Tony. The other Tony. Tony's like, oh Lord, not the height thing.
But tell everybody that you 6'5", so they know.
I'm like, the boy is 6'5". I'm 6'5" with heels on. So I'm like, hey, this is cute. Okay, we about we had a couple of those phone calls where you up all night and it's like, this is really cute. And then he just kept texting me 5 times throughout the day, like, listen, I got stuff to do. Okay. I got 50 million jobs and I've got to concentrate. Please don't text me all day. Please don't try to call me if I didn't say I was available. Did we set up a time? No. Leave me alone. We ain't gonna have nothing to talk about when we actually speak because you.
Go ahead, Tony. I see you. I don't want to do this.
I have a question.
Tony got it loaded.
No, I just have a question. What would you say is your love language?
Oh. All of them are my love language.
No, that's not true.
all of them. No, I kid you not.
That's not
Just
true.
Like you express what your love language is. All of them are my love language.
So you enjoy words of affirmation.
Sure.
But yet I can over communicate. And it's possible for me to over communicate.
See, that's a misnomer. I'm not talking about over communicating. Here's what I say to that. Everyone must know what they are comfortable with, right? Just like I have a timer on my phone. It has a do not disturb. No one is allowed to call me until 10:30 in the morning. That is all about me. I need a little self-care. Don't call me. Don't bother me. It's not important to me until about 10:30 in the morning. So everybody has to know their limit. My limit might be, dude, you can't call me. That's kind of like we've all seen the movies. Okay, I'll finish this point and then we'll get to you, Tony. Have you seen that movie where the guy sends he buys out the florist and sends it to the woman, and some women are like, oh my God, he loves me so much. And then there's another woman who's like, I got hay fever. I'm allergic to this. He didn't even know. There could be too much of a good thing. It's a phrase for a reason.
So my question is, right? Does it sound like you guys had a beautiful connection, right? At any point, did you say to him, listen, you communicating with me this much robs us of our time when we're on the phone. I like you, but I'm a busy person, and I don't want to be frustrated by not being able to take your texts because I am busy. Did you communicate to that to him?
Yes, I did, because I'm a good communicator.
All right, then that's
I didn't use those words, but I said
what words did you use?
Basically,
Stop texting me all the time.
Almost? No.
Delete.
I said, baby, it is lovely to hear from you so much, but I would love a little time to myself so that I can truly enjoy you when we do spend some time together.
That's beautiful. So what was his response?
Was he receptive? Yeah.
Not really. He still wanted to keep texting me throughout the day.
Well, then that's different. So tell him to call me and Tony, and we'll straighten him out.
I mean, did he expect a response, or was he just one of those people that gave you updates throughout the day?
No, he was. Yeah, I guess in a way, his updates is kind of like what's going on with him in the day. And in my mind, I'm going, I didn't ask.
Wow. Ooh, wow. Okay. All right.
What?
No, hey.
Like I stabbed somebody. Like I was like,
you stabbed him.
That was harsh.
Hey, babe, I was at the store and I got shot. I'm busy. Stop texting me.
Are you dead? No.
I asked you to respect my privacy.
They pulled my car. I need help.
But did you die?
Clearly not. You texting me, so.
Oh my god. Okay.
I got something to say, but I'm gonna yield to one of the other two ladies because that's how we do here.
I'll chime in with the doing too much. I think it's all about personal preference. And Tony bring up a great point, communicating what it is that you want. And when you're going to express your love to someone or express interest in someone, find out what's the most, how could I say, how do they desire for you to express interest in them? Because somebody can want to sit on the phone for 5 hours and they can receive that as, oh, he's interested in me, when in reality that person really desires, I want to be out on a date with you, like I want to see you in person. So I think it's only doing too much if you are forcing your viewpoint, your perspective, the way that you desire to express your love and interest to someone, and that's not what they desire. But I do think it all boils down to communication. What is it that you want? How do you like expressing your needs? And then also compromise.
Derek.
Thank you so much.
You may speak on your show.
Right. I would say this is what I used to call, way back in the day when I was out there, assuming a sale, right? I'm a very big proponent of matching energy. So if I'm doing all of that and you're not responding, we're going to have a conversation. Now, I'm going to pull the hell back, because if I really like you, I don't want to run the risk of losing you. But there's a conversation that needs to happen too. Like, am I doing this too much? Because I don't, and then at that point, I have a decision to make of whether I want to do. But then there's also, some men and some women out here that feel like the only way to make sure you don't go nowhere is to beat you into submission. And that is a problem. That will make you get ghosted, or somebody disappear on you, or stop calling you back, and then you really in a space. But I'm a proponent of growth. I'm a proponent of doing temperature checks and making sure everybody's good. And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'm not going to assume that you, for an example, a lot of times men, what we do is we will do what's worked before. So we're going to assume that you're going to like it the same way somebody else might have liked texting all day, and we're going to make you fit into that instead of listening and watching your movements. And your non-response. And then to Love's point, she even told the guy, and he still was like, no, you must fit in this box or else. That right there, that's a recipe for disaster. So I'm going to land there.
I got a question. It's kind of coincides with the whole, doing too much. When for a woman, for you three ladies, right? Because I can't, like we said before, we can't make this universal because everybody's different. When should a man be vulnerable enough to express how he feels about you? Date 1 or date 50?
I say all the time. Like, there's no, and I think it's also to the extent of what he feels. Because if I meet you on day 1 and it's like, hey, I'm in love with you, I love you, that's a red flag. But if it's, hey, I like this, I like the conversation that we had, like, that's expressing to me how you feel, let's proceed. 2 weeks from now, your feelings have grown. Hey, I'm still interested. Express how you feel. Day 50. express how you feel.
But what if how I feel is I feel like I'm falling in love with you?
That's different than I am in love with you.
So it's the words.
Based on, I guess, based on what? Like, what is the difference between somebody meeting you, having a great time with you, and saying, I think I'm falling in love with you, and them being 50 days in and saying, oh, now I feel like I'm in love with you?
And it also boils down to what's their definition and perspective of being in love. I think feeling like I'm in love with someone and being in love with someone are two totally different things.
I can agree with that.
So my wife is gonna destroy me for putting our business in the street, but I fell for her first. Like I was all in, like that's wifey, I'm done. And she was like Love Tucker. She was like, I don't know, man. I say that because we had these marathon conversations that would last like 4 hours. And she told me, I'm not a phone talk. I'm not somebody who really likes to talk on the phone, but yet we would have these long conversations. And so a lot of the time I took her out of her comfort zone, but I think she really liked me. So it wasn't that big of a deal. But if you let her tell the story, yeah, I definitely was the one that jumped head in first. I'm ready. I don't want anything else. You're exactly what I want. And it took her, I mean, she took baby steps. While I was, Sha'Carri Richardson, she was taking baby steps, And so for men, it's confusing. And I want to set this out here and tell me what you think. We're constantly being told that we don't express ourselves. We don't tell you how we feel. Mm-hmm. And then when we have the boldness to say something or express ourselves, because it's not the way you want to receive it. This is the perception. I'm not saying this is reality. Then we get shot down. And since as men, we don't, and I think this is something that women have to understand. Most of us don't have soft places to land. Most of us land either with other women or, we with our partners. And when I got divorced, with my first wife, they came to the house, her girlfriends, they brought Moscato and candles, and they just loved on her for a whole weekend, and it just made her feel better. My friends took me to the strip club. So there was no place for me to, put that energy. And so what I did was, when I get rejected like that, unfortunately, I start to formulate an opinion, an idea, a mindset. And every woman I date after is going to be the victim of that. So I say all that to say, should some women, I'm trying so hard not to get attacked for my words, should some women be mindful, not that you owe men anything, but be mindful of the dichotomous messages sometimes?
Definitely.
Okay, this is the second time you said that word, and I don't know what it means.
Meaning that you say one thing, you mean and it's something different. It's
dichotomous.
Dichotomous. Yeah, they're dueling. They're not.
Hey Siri.
I'm sorry. I'm an English major. I just be showing off. They ain't the same. I mean, should you be more cognizant of the fact that, because let's be honest, what really guides a lot of this, what really drives a lot of this is not the behavior, but your feelings about the person displaying the behavior. Would you agree with that statement? So for instance, Love Tucker, if there was somebody you really liked, I mean, he met the height requirements and all of that.
That's very important.
He was a texter, but that was the only thing he did wrong. Would it be easier to see past the 5-6 text messages a day? Or was it the fact that this dude, in your words, was being given a chance and he blew it because he went too hard in the paint?
The texts weren't really the problem. And I think that just like your woman your woman, like your wife, had acquiesced to your wanting to be on the phone more, it was easy. I was saying something to my son earlier today in terms of doing what you love. Time disappears, and I think it's the same when you're getting to know someone. Where you're getting to know someone, you're enjoying that time, you're enjoying the energy, and you don't realize that you're on the phone for 2, 3, 4 hours. You know, unless maybe you got the TV on, and all of a sudden the shows keep changing, and you notice, and you're going, "Oh man, I think I should go to bed. I got stuff to do tomorrow." So I think there is, in every relationship, we make all of these what's the word that I want?
Provisions?
No. Allowances. That's what I want. Allowances for other people. And oftentimes we don't realize that we're doing it. We're doing it because we care about the other person. And what matters to them is important to us. So all of a sudden we're, oh, well, he likes when I wear a skirt. I'm going to wear dresses more often. I'm going to wear a skirt when I see him, you know, initially, or, oh, he likes, you know, my hair this way. Okay, I'm going to do this more often. I think it goes both ways. It happens both ways. And if you're doing it right, you don't even notice that you're doing it.
Is it safe to say that nobody here believes in love at first sight?
No, that's not safe. That's not safe at all. I was just waiting for you to finish talking so I can bring it up.
Oh, man, I was just wondering because y'all like, if you tell me you love me on the first day, you crazy. That's how I feel.
Because I'm going to piggyback off of what Tony said. Like, he knew initially that his wife was the one. Men know that. If you talk to a lot of men that get married, they know. Day one, glance one, that's her. They know. So if he turns around and says, yo, I love you, he might not be in love with you the way you think he should be, but I think you should take those things in consideration of what his feelings are. And maybe don't respond like, oh, you crazy, but let him test that out to see if it's real. Because there's a lot of dudes, a lot of people, right? Because Joseph's son is saying a lot of great things in the comments about men and women dueling and having the same responses and the same feelings, right? So be cognizant of that. Because this person says he loves you, he might be telling the truth. He might see a future with you based on how he watched you move, right? Now, if you do the women thing and you test him out and he's always coming to bat for you, then that's beautiful. I'm gonna and I know they might get mad at me, but I got some really, really good friends. When they got together, I'm not gonna say their names, but when they got together, she had went through some trauma in her life, and she was trying to push him away. He's like, I'm not going anywhere. She tried everything. You are my future, and I'm not going anywhere. So there is a way to show when I say I love you at first sight, if I'm truthful or not, versus the dude that says, yo, I love you because he's chasing something else. You know what I mean? So, I do believe in there is a such thing as love at first sight. I believe that's a possibility.
Now, I will say this. Fiel here has a very great point. You can, and I think this is the point that Charelle was making. You can feel it. That's cool. But is it appropriate to say it? Because I do have to take into consideration that love can be a very effective tool for manipulation. This idea that I'm just so in love with you and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. You know, it's like, what's my middle name? I don't know. I don't care.
You know what? Here's what's funny about that. I would say there's a reason why man is in front of manipulation, but I remember.
Wow. Oh, hell no.
I said that out loud. I said that out loud. My inner voice came out. So I remember 50 million years ago, fiance number 2, don't judge me. I met him at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I was like 20, whatever years old. Met him on the train that morning. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we had like stopped going wherever we were going that morning and got off the train, went and had breakfast, walking around, went and had lunch. By the time we sitting down having like some ice cream on a promenade, he was telling me, like I'm really enjoying, your space and energy, et cetera, et cetera. And, and he said something about feelings. And I was like, you don't even know my last name. He was like, that doesn't matter. I'm going to change your last name. And I was like, ooh, but you're cute. So I'm just going to let you rock with that. But every person is going to be a little different with that. Like if you vibing with the person, you're not really going to take that as an offense. You're just like, you're going to brush it off, or you're going to be like, yay, let's go ring shopping right now and see where it goes. I wasn't that. I was just like, okay, and spent the rest of the day with him.
Would you say that it's smart for women to have a high index of suspicion or a high level of skepticism when dating?
High?
Yeah.
I would say there needs to be some discernment. Sure. High, I think, it's possible. Again, the too much of a good thing. If you're too cautious, then you don't allow room for growth. You don't allow room for opportunity. So, like I'll give an example. I was having a conversation with one of my good friends, and I was like, it's really difficult for me to really find somebody to date. And they were just like, what? Like, don't people be sliding your DMs? I was like, yeah, unfortunately. But I was like, to find a alpha Black man, right, who's going to be respectful, but I am also a mom of a gay son. So he needs not to be toxic, where he is going to have, any homophobia at all, right? And he also can't come in like, okay, my son is 6'6". He can't come in and feel a way that, oh my gosh, let me be hyper masculine because I am in some way weirdly threatened by this kid that's like this big, but he's towering over me. So everyone needs to, and so I find that while I may be guarded in some respects, I need to leave some room to let you show who you are. And I think that's the same point for many people. Like, yes, have your guard up, look for those red flags, and you need to allow people the space to show you that naturally, and not just, allow them to say whatever, do whatever, and manipulate certain situations because they learn a little something about you. Like you give them too much information, so they're like, oh, okay, well, I know that I can do X, Y, and Z because she's this, or okay, allow them a little room, a little bit, not too much.
So
no, Derek. No.
So he's tall, alpha male. That's a lot.
This is why she is, she ain't got no ring, so.
It's okay. We can fix that, sis. I'm following you guys, and I got people for y'all if y'all don't have nobody. I'm ready. Listen, before Derek speaks, I read this post this morning that made me chuckle. It says, do you base your response to a compliment due to the person who's giving it? And I thought that was so funny to me because I had to think about it. I was like,
It's like, your response is always, thank you. That's always the response.
Look, if Tony tells me, oh, you're cute, or if Tanya tells me, oh, you're cute, then I have to decide, or is it going to be the same? Like, and we're like, oh, thank you.
I thought we took care of that Tanya thing earlier.
Huh?
I thought we took care of that Tanya thing earlier.
Oh, you called yourself out? Because I could have been talking about anybody. You brought it up. See, now you brought it to everybody's attention. I wouldn't even talk about you. I was like, okay, continue. Go ahead, Derek.
Thank you again.
Speak on your show.
I'm going to reclaim my time. I think a couple points. So what to Love's point about leaving room and what I always say on my shows is, you know, when you start to look exclusively for red flags, then you miss the green. Yeah. Right? Sometimes there could be a whole lot of green, but your trauma or whatever you've been through may make you be hypersensitive to any little possible red thing. And when you move like that, it's hard. Like I'm always a preacher of boundaries, discernment, and for you to not waver from those things. Because when you waver, that's where predators live. They bank on that trauma to kick in or that emotional weakness to kick in so they can go ahead and take control over that. And the other thing about the other point I wanted to make about love at first sight, I think for me, number one, I don't agree with somebody saying it on the first date, but I think for me, the words I would choose would be chemistry at first sight that could possibly grow into what we define as love. But you can have some hellified chemistry with somebody on day one and you can get the feels, you know, you give them a hug and your pinky's toe starts shaking and you like, oh my God, this is him. This is her. But love and chemistry, y'all compatible, love, I don't know where that comes from to be able to feel that in less than 24 hours, but who am I? I'm just saying, to me, you know, you can have the little tinglies and it not be love, even though you might feel like it is, because you might have felt the tinglies 10 years ago when you was married and you're like, oh, this feels similar. Maybe I'm in love. I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know if somebody were to say that, if I were single, if somebody was to say that on the first date, I'd be like, hold on, man. I can't.
I feel you. I feel you, Derek. I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this, but there's this guy that I kissed in the wheel one night on the first date, and it was the best kiss in the world. I have not felt those bubbles in my guts.
Whoa, come out! Is this
saying, that was. Listen, anybody else ever had a kiss that made you think you was in love? That's how it was. But I've not seen or heard from him since then. To me, it was a good kiss. Maybe not to him.
Well, you know, I wrote this article for I can't remember. I think it was Huffington Post, and it was basically, you know, you had a great conversation, not a connection. That was the title of the article. And I think sometimes we do put so much weight on an event, right? Whether it's a kiss, you know, or a conversation, or just a feeling. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have a connection, because I agree with Derek. As much as I love the idea of love at first sight, and as much as I was sure that my wife was the one, there still needed to be a vetting process. And if I'm honest, if there was something that was blatantly, you know, or glaringly just not in my, you know, compatible with me, then I would have moved on. I think I was just lucky that, you know, everything kind of fell into place. But I think for me, and I think for most men, we sometimes communicate love we communicate intent with love. And I think when a man becomes intentional, he may confuse that with love. And so he starts to express these feelings of wanting to spend time, wanting to, you know, really go hard in the paint, because I think as men, it's our nature to, you know, that's the only time I'm comfortable with the idea of a man pursuing. And that's when he's already in, you know, something that's already started. I don't like the idea of men hunting as in the dating process, because I mean that means that women are prey. And that's a horrible analogy in my opinion. Charelle, you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in on your question about women being, if they need to be overly cautious or I forget the exact words that you use, but one thing I teach my clients and I harp on a lot is we create our own reality. So just like Derek was saying, like if you're looking for these red flags, you're going to find them plus more. And not only that, but you'll also miss the green flags. I think it's very, very, very important that when women date, know yourself, know what's important to you. What are your boundaries? What are your standards? And stay true to it, just like Derek said, because once you stray, then you find yourself ending up in certain situations where, how did I get here? What happened? And that's not following what was true, what you knew to be true, and you knew what was important to you from the beginning. So I just wanted to add that.
Excellent point. Excellent point.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
I have a real question for everybody. Do you think the current state of mental affairs with people, right, that red flags on X, really sometimes red flags, just fear bumps that people are experiencing?
Yep.
Indeed. I don't know if anybody wants to speak first, but I had this conversation with myself prior to getting on this podcast. Derek, and I don't know who all knows this, but is an amazing person. And before I met him, I was ready to walk away from my relationship because I didn't understand what was going on in it. So Derek was basically my Betty Wright. Do y'all know Betty Wright?
Yeah.
he was mine. Mr. Charlie is just a man. So he helped me to see that these things that I was experiencing were not necessarily all on him. It was a lot to do with me. And we need those community of people who are able to identify that everything that goes wrong in your relationship doesn't mean you leave. I read an article today, 11 reasons why you should leave your man. All 11 of those reasons were reasons I should have walked away, but they weren't real reasons. They were just like little things, like, because he doesn't flush the toilet or because he leaves the light on in the bathroom. Like, they weren't that petty, but they were along those lines. So we need a community of people around us that are able to help us not just identify problems within our relationship or problems within ourselves. We are so quick because we're instant gratification. Well, I'm gonna deal with this when I can go and find somebody else out here on social media, that we're not willing to take accountability and responsibility for the things that we're doing. So if you are in a relationship, and I advise anybody out there, if you feel like it's salvageable, if it's not detrimental to your health, detrimental to your mindset, be willing to make changes within yourself that are not completely changing you as a person, because you never know what you can get out of a situation and how peaceful it can be if you realize that a person is not as horrible as you are mentally thinking that they are. They are just, being who they are and not able to communicate as effectively as you would want them to. But once you learn the triggers and once you learn the things that are affecting you and affecting them, you can work around those things and be a very happy and peaceful couple.
I agree. One thing just to add to that, I always encourage couples never to make a decision about ending a relationship when you're triggered. Worst timing ever, which a lot of people do that. Seek help first and make it from a neutral standpoint as opposed to being heated, saying I'm out.
Well said. Very well said.
I feel like I had a little bit of a different thought. It was probably a conflation of the other topic as well, where people keep having, I call them fantasy relationships. Yes. Where when you're by yourself, you start creating another narrative of this is what's happening, and that is not the truth. And it goes to your point where you're going, oh my gosh, they're a horrible person, and they don't do this and they don't do that. And you stop looking at the reality of, okay, what's the fact and what's my feeling? If you get to a point where you differentiate, you go, oh, well, I'm just feeling this, kind of like I can get upset about something, right? And so I create and can create horrible things in my head about what happened. If I expected, expectation is a big part of that, right? Where I expect that I'm going to speak to whoever I'm dating at least once every 2-3 days or something. He doesn't call me or something like that. Oh my gosh, he is with somebody else. And oh my gosh, maybe he died. And all of a sudden, all it took was a conversation with them. And they were like, oh yeah, I was really busy with X, Y, and Z. Or, you know, I mean, there's COVID right now. It's like, oh man, you know, somebody I know got sick, or, you know, I had a scare and X, Y, and Z. And it's like, oh, then you take it down a notch. You have to revisit it. If you find you keep doing that, you are probably the problem. You should look at that and find somebody to talk to. But that was kind of like what came to my mind when that came up for some reason. Maybe I'm feeling guilty.
No, that's on point, because it's part of one of the notes I just wrote down. I think one of the problems that we have in this climate now is that no one wants to have a mentor or someone to help guide them through. Everything is an individual work. I can do this by myself. I move by myself. I make my own decisions. My feelings are truth. Like, you have to have somebody to sit down and tell you, it's like, nah, dude, those are just your feelings. They okay for you, but in reality, that's not right. That's not true. And if you don't have that type of surroundings, or you have to look at, and I think Derek says this all the time, if the people that are around you are not trying to build your relationship up, you need to do something different. Like, if every time you go to your girlfriend or your man and be like, yo, shorty, blah, 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 and they telling you to break up with them, you need to reconsider who you're dealing with, you know, because that it's stressful already to try to have a relationship. Then have people who are single or in bad relationships try to tell you how to navigate your relationship. So it's really important to find people who can tell you, listen, I made mistakes. Here's what I did. Here's what I see. And take that advice. And if somebody tells you, no, you're doing something wrong, you don't have to accept it right away. But at least if that person you go to, you love and consider what they're saying. There might be a different perspective for you. And I think that's where we get kind of caught up a lot. And stop thinking that you can never be wrong. Being wrong is human. We all want this perfect relationship. And like Son said in the comments, stop looking at celebrities that had 18,000 pictures taken before they posted it. They paid $85,000 to have this whole thing orchestrated, and then they post it, and now you think they relationship goals. No, he's cheating. She's miserable, but on camera they look great. Build your own reality. Find somebody for you in your own reality. I just got to put this out there for Tone Takes Over. I'm a little upset because I wanted to fight today, and we all kind of on an agreement level, like across the board. Everybody's like real nice about what we're talking about. There's no shots really being fired across the bows, but I appreciate that. We all grown.
Calicia tried.
No, she didn't.
She came in low.
We all grown.
All I said was Betty Wright said, "If having a piece of man is better than having no man at all." I didn't agree with that. I didn't agree with that.
We gotta do a part 2 or something.
We do.
Yeah.
We you know why we have to do a part 2? Because we need to fully address this whole man manipulation starts with man comment.
I ain't make up that word.
Okay. Now on, that word is woman
manipulation. She was waiting on the opportunity.
That's the topic of this
morning.
Manipulation.
Right. From now on, that word is woman manipulation. That's how I'm using it in the sentences from now on.
I'm definitely enunciating the man manipulation.
Well, we're almost at the 2-hour mark. We know it's a school night, so we want to be respectful of everyone's time. This was an amazing show. I know I can speak for all of my brothers when I say you ladies definitely added so much value to the conversation, your perspectives, your honesty. We appreciate that so much. And of course, you are always invited back to Real Shop Talk. That's what this is about. Opportunities for us to peel back the layers, get rid of the agenda, and have an actual conversation about the state of relationships between men and women, especially Black men and women. And I say that because I feel like right now our community is under attack. And my personal opinion is that it's under attack from people who have a financial agenda. They're into that manipulation because we are easy targets sometimes. So I want to go around and let everyone, the ladies, of course, tell everyone where they can find you again, just in case someone joined after you gave that information. If you are following Real Shop Talk, please follow these ladies. I follow all three of them. Like I said, I've been on their Instagram pages all day, just getting some background information, and they're all awesome people. So please follow them and look at their services. Make sure you pick up their books if they're authors or whatever the case may be. Do yourself a favor and enlighten your mind. So Charelle, we'll start with you. The stage is yours.
Okay, beautiful people. So again, my name is Charelle Thomas. I am a love and intimacy coach. I work with both men and women, helping them build a deeper connection with their partner, as well as teaching mind-blowing sexual techniques that will leave them satisfied and yearning for more. I am not officially an author yet. However, I do have a workshop that will be held August the 18th for the ladies, teaching you how to own your O. It's the Art of Orgasms workshop. So if you have a hard time climaxing, if you never climax from penetration, if you don't climax consistently, definitely check out the link in my bio as Charelle E. Thomas on Instagram. And thank you all for having me, and thanks for tuning in.
All right. That's only for women, right?
It is, but I do have one following for the men.
Okay, good. Because staying in the order, we'll move right on to Miss Love Tucker.
Hello, everyone. I apologize for my light going out, but you know, I'm light bright, so y'all still see me. You can find me on Facebook at Love Tucker. My IG, there are two. It's love.theeelook. So that is Love the Look. And also 2024, the novel. And the novel, I don't know if y'all can see that great. Looks like this. All black. It's available on Amazon.com. And soon the audio version will be out in about 3 months. So I thank you for having me here. It is always great. I'm glad that I gave a couple of black eyes, just saying. And I hope everyone has a great night.
Well, lucky for me, I'm short, so I ducked them. I didn't need it. Last and certainly not least, Miss Betty Wright herself. Miss Calicia Patrice, the floor is yours. You're muted. You're muted. You're on mute. There you go.
Okay, I was about to sing, but since I was muted, never mind. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. I have been following Derek and as well as Tony Massey Speaks. He's today Tony Massey Cooks. He cooks too, guys. Make sure y'all check out his cooking. I've been following Tony A. Watts for a while. I almost messed it up, Tony. Look, Charelle, I caught her live the other day. Y'all, tune in because I got to find out what this girl talking about. She said something about orgasm 12 or something. I'm going over there. Stay over there. Love Tucker. I purchased her novel today. I'm excited about it because I started reading it before I got it. Oh, it's some heat in there. So make sure y'all get that. But again, I'm Calicia Patrice. You can find me on all social media platforms as Calicia Patrice. I am the co-owner of Hello Black Man Journal. Be sure to tap into that. We're all about communication and transparency. We want to make sure that you guys are open and honest with everything that you do in life. I thank you guys again. Follow Real Shop Talk. Subscribe to their YouTube. This is going to be a dope platform. We're all going to win one way or another.
Appreciate you, Queen. Thank you so much. Tony, you got the book up. Go ahead and go next, brother.
Yeah, so that's her book. So you can see it, what it really looks like. Phenomenal book, especially I think the women would definitely enjoy it because she's bringing what is that show? I think it's on Showtime with the lady with the red on with the hats. What's that show? It's that show about the women who had abortions and babies and all that good stuff.
Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale. Like that show. So everybody on the panel right now is very, very dope. We really appreciate you guys. It wasn't a fight when names were brought up who we should have on. It wasn't like, no, we're not doing that. Because Derek will tell us, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah. And he has.
So I'm Tony Watts, host of Triumphant TV, also a relationship and life coach, also an NLP practitioner. Help you find those things in your life that are triggers that help you get past those things. And I always like to say this because it's very important. Being a life coach, a relationship coach, is not the same as a therapist. So you need to just differentiate and have people that are solid in what they do to say, hey, your situation is a little deeper, and here's who you need to talk to. But sometimes there's medicine involved that needs to get you to where you need to go. And there's a deeper conversation needs to be had than you just filling out a 20-page questionnaire about what you want to do with your life and how we can get you to be the best you can be. Sometimes there's some deep work that needs to be done. So please know the difference before you get involved with people. Like I said, each person on this panel is dope. The women who do what they do, like everybody always said, they are phenomenal. If you don't have the time, please tune in and you will just lose your mind listening to them because they do phenomenal work. I appreciate it. Real Shop Talk. You can reach us as the thing just went by, realshoptalk.net. You can get all of our platforms. We did miss out two of our crew members, Gunner Man and John. They out doing the Lord's work, as Tony said. They bring a special type of energy. Hopefully, we did justice tonight. So we appreciate you. Let's go,
Derek.
This was good. Like I said, we got to do a part 2. I don't know who gonna be here and who not, but we got to do a part 2, 3, 4, 17. We got to get this in. Ladies' night isn't just a one-time thing, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to keep doing this because we would be remiss if it was only us all the time. You're going to start to see more guests. You're going to see us, doing what we do, but we always have to have, women represented because, we need you guys. And we need to push this narrative so that our communities can grow and not go backwards. So, and the 3 ladies here, I love Tucker, sweet as pie. At least that's the character that she portrays on TV.
As my wonderful niece does.
Right, Charelle. I haven't met you, but I did what Tony did. I stalked your profile. And I saw one interview that you did on IG recently, and your patience.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't know how you do it, but you did it.
Black girl magic.
Calicia, that's my Mississippi homie. We talk often. Hello Black Man. Y'all need to check out Hello Black Man. I'm gonna give them a shameless plug. They have a line of journals. I think it started out Hello Black Man, but they have Hello Black Woman, Hello Black Teen, Hello Black Couple. They got the whole line, and it kind of it's. I think it's. I'm gonna go ahead and do y'all commercial. It's a guided journal, so they give you kind of things to lead you into discussion, so that you can find out more about yourself by actually writing it down, so that you can kind of it's muscle memory, and it helps you learn more about yourself and maybe steer you in a direction of possibly getting help or figuring out some things you need to change. And so they've spawned. I don't even know how many journals y'all have.
So I have college
entrepreneur
on the verge of coming out. College student will be out the 1st of September. So that will make 10 unique journals. We have educator, first responder. We have a journal, which is catered to everybody, not just the Black community. I appreciate you for bringing all those things to the forefront. We are just out here trying to, make it do what it do, trying to get y'all to communicate with each other, trying to learn your mate. You may not know he wants you to propose to him. You find out in the journal. Good night.
So the last thing I wanted to say too, we talk about realshoptalk.net website, and all of our profiles are there. But we're really trying to grow our YouTube page. So when you go there, there's 3 big buttons. There's Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Click that YouTube button, subscribe, hit the bell. And if you enjoy the content, come back and get those notifications so you don't forget. So make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel if you're not. I know some of you guys are coming through Facebook, but we need you to really go there and add all 3 of them. But we really trying to grow the YouTube page. So that's all I got. We'll see you guys next week.
Subscribe.
Yeah. And so before you go in real quick, I don't know if we're going to cover this, so just make sure we cover it. We want to thank everybody on the Facebook page that helped us get to 1,100 already. We've been doing this for like a month and a half, almost 2 months, and to have 1,100 followers on there, it's amazing. We deeply appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait a minute. Don't forget John and Gunter Man's handles as well.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, thank you.
So make sure you follow John Singletary, the Help Myself podcast, and then Gunter Man is Soapbox Stand Up and Speak. You can find me, Tony Massey Cooks, or Tony Massey Speaks on Instagram. Also, my YouTube page, Tony Massey Cooks. I started a new show. Just started last Thursday called Chef in the Spotlight. This is where I find chefs that I follow, whether they be home chefs, amateur chefs, or professionals, and just chop it up with them. Have a conversation about cooking and food and all that good stuff. So you don't want to miss that. That's every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. So again, if you go to realshoptalk.net, you'll find all of our information. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you go to the description, every single social media handle for the ladies that joined us this evening, it's going to be there.
You can say young.
Also,
I saw you about to say young ladies.
Huh?
You about to say young ladies. That's why you
I gotta be careful. I don't know.
Make your jaws long. He'll think we're younger than we are.
The young ladies that are joining us this evening, all of their handles are there. Support them. Support what they're doing, because each one of them is doing something phenomenal. I definitely am going to order the book today. As an author myself, I always look for opportunities to support authors. So I'll definitely be doing a review of 2024. I'm excited about that. And Charelle Thomas, you know I'm gonna look into what you got going over there. My wife is too. She don't know it yet, but she will. And of course,
I'm watching Charelle, baby.
Let me know when you want to do a veteran version of the
journals.
The journals, yeah, a veteran version.
Oh, absolutely,
yeah.
yes.
I'll definitely help as a contributing.
Yes. I am a strong supporter of the veterans. My uncle, he recently passed. He was a veteran. My sister-in-law is a veteran. Let's do that. I'm all for
absolutely. I'm down like 4 flat tires.
All right, that's it. Just the next one.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. We really appreciate it. If you liked what you saw tonight, subscribe, hit the notification, share. The only way we get good content is if we support good content. So stop complaining about what you see and start following what you enjoy. All right. On behalf of the Real Shop Talk and our wonderful guest, I bid you a good night.
Yeah, the Real Shop Talk. Just come and take a listen. Some grown men with unbiased and honest opinions, and with no agendas, so you just gotta check it. Talking love and life from a male perspective. We keep it authentic, real, no filter. Leave a comment, be part of the show. We here to give you 5 gentlemen's views about manhood, no doubt. This the show you've been needing, yeah, it's the Real Shop Talk. Let's go.